Good morning and welcome to the Bowtie Gardens to a brand new day. Look at that sky, isn't it gorgeous? It's supposed to be in the upper 60s today. Some of you might know back on Christmas, just a tad over a month ago, we had 18-degree temperatures, and then we warmed up into the 70s and then got down into the upper 30s again. 2 weeks later, got back up into the 70s. And actually just the past few nights we've had, or I should say mornings, the past few mornings we have had mid to upper 30s again, and which is cold here for Florida. We're in the panhandle of Florida, but I'm getting over being sick myself. If you've seen some of our recent videos, you've heard my hoarse voice. I still got a little bit of hoarse voice, but you know, last night I slept 9 hours, and you know that point when you're recovering that you get that good long sleep and you feel like a whole new person. Well, today is that day for me. Boy, do I feel like a whole new person. But up until that point, it's kind of foggy and you're wishing you'd feel better. And every time I stepped out into the cold, I would, I'd get hoarse again, just being outside for a few minutes. And I'm a handyman and I work outside quite a bit. But anyway, it's been one of those weird up and down seasons, but it's just like, I'm a little jealous of these bees right here because they can adapt to that a lot better than I can. Apparently, they go hide in their box and when it's cold and don't come out, and then they come out and they have some reserves in there. But today, I don't know if you can see them from there, but today they're buzzing around and a little bit excited because they know today's going to be a warm day. But I wanted to show you these fig trees right here in front. Oh my goodness, can you believe this? Talk about some confused plants. These fig trees are a little confused by all the weather. They've been popping out here, not popping out. They're actually not even barely popping out up top. The front one is a little bit more dormant, but this is just amazing growth for the end of January. Here in Florida, we do typically come up with a little bit more cold weather, possibly in the beginning of February. It can happen. It does frequently happen. Our average last frost date is supposed to be March 14th, I think. And I don't know, it'll be, in fact, we didn't even get any frost previous winter, not this winter, but last winter. We got no frost. In fact, we got no freezing temperatures at all, which is why so many of my things in the new garden thrived so much. So it's nice to know that the garden is as confused as I am health-wise. But anyway, I'm Bowtie David, as I've already said. We are here in the panhandle of Florida in Destin. We're in the heart of Destin, and we have been developing our garden for, what are we on, 15 months now? Developing a 1/4 acre lot into edible gardens. And the previous owner had a great in-ground garden when we bought it, and we've kind of elevated that area into our raised bed gardens. But this time, in this video, where this is part 2 of our garden tours, we are looking at the outer beds. And there's a few things of interest going on in the outer beds. Not a whole lot because it is January, and a lot of this part of the garden just doesn't have a lot going on at the moment. Though there are a few there's one major exciting thing. Is if you've been watching the videos, you know what the big huge thing was this month, at the beginning of the month. This is January 2023. 2023. Where did the pandemic go? Isn't it wonderful? Anyway, so if you saw the first part, you know there's a lot of stuff going on in the front garden and the side garden. We'll be having the third part here in a little bit, and I'm a little excited to show you some of the stuff in the raised beds in the third part. But today we are looking at the outer gardens for the backyard, and this is really my own journal. You'll notice in the index there's a lot of, in the description there's a lot of indexing for this video, and that's what creates the chapters for a video. But I use this for my own reference. This is my own log of what happens in the garden. So next year this time, if I have a question, what was happening with such and so, I can go look at my old videos and I can find out what was going on. So that's what this is all about. This is really my personal records, but you're invited to come along on this beautiful sunny day. As you can tell, the sun is just coming out from behind the magnolia here and hitting my bright, shiny forehead. It feels so good. This is going to be a beautiful day. So I do have a lot planned today. I'm going to try to get the second and third part recorded on this. This is Saturday. What is this? The 27th, I believe, of January. And yeah, I think it's the 27th. Oh, good grief. How confused am I? I'm sorry, is this the 28th? I don't know what day today is. Today is the 28th, Saturday, January 28th. We're getting in, of course we always shoot these monthly garden tours at the end of the month, so getting it in just in time. Unfortunately, I can't get it out real fast because I have to do a lot of editing, and that generally takes a couple of days before I can get all the editing done. But it's just wonderful to have a nice little breeze and see the kinetic art going and the sun shining, the blue skies. We've had a lot of gray days, so the blue skies are just wonderful right now. And things are growing, things are coming back. It's going to be a good spring. God is good. Here we go. Hi, I'm Bowtie Dave. So the very first thing, of course, in the outer beds is where we start with the blackberries. And in fact, you can still see down here on the right that wood is from the dismantled arbor, which is what I'm hoping, or yeah, trellis that I'm hoping to get put back up today in the raised beds. But hopefully by the time you see the raised beds video, that will be back together. But we have a little bit of what I'm calling mountain mint, and you can see how it's all died back, but looky here, there's new growth. I need to take this down and trim all this dead stuff out so that the new stuff can grow. But there's quite a bit of new mint in there. Very excited. There's also some grass down there I'm gonna have to take out. But that's how mint goes. It'll die all the way back and come back in the spring. So of course the blackberries have just lost most of their leaves. Of course, we've had a lot of cold since the last time I recorded one of these, and they have succumbed to the cold and gone into some dormancy. You can see especially here how dark the leaves are. Now some of these looks like they might be coming back. These are just beautiful leaves, beautiful condition. The pomegranates. Now, if you saw the beginning of part one, I do want to show you these three pomegranates right here. Look, this one here, I don't see any growth coming out on it at all. Now, remember, I reduced these pomegranates. They were a whole bunch of trunks coming out of the bases of these. Well, I reduced these all to 3 trunks each. So there's going to be less stress on the root system. I'm hoping I didn't overdo it. That's a concern that I had, is that if I over trimmed these things, will they come back in the spring? However, look at this one in the middle. Oh my goodness, this thing is shooting out everywhere. Like that one in the front, all the growth here, even way up there on the top that's too high for me to harvest from. Over to that side, there's one side over here that's still not doing much, but right up there on the top, there is some growth. So we might end up losing another trunk in this before all is said and done. We'll find out in the spring when everything comes back. So that's the tree in the middle, and then this is the third of the 3 trees around the blackberry arbor, and I see nothing on it. Nothing, which is just, wow, I don't understand how one tree can have such significant growth like this. I mean, just absolutely amazing growth. Look at that corner up in there. Just getting ready to explode. But everything else. Well, there you go. The garden lives on. Okay, so you see that little fuzzy thing hanging from the branch right there? Let me get that down from there. This is part of the squirrel nests that we found up in the big tree that we took down. Yep, I spoiled it. Big tree came down. If you hadn't seen it yet, it is down, but we'll get there. Back of the blueberries, of course. Now, okay, I didn't show this on the other one because it was the front of the blueberries, and this is the back of the blueberries. So I don't know what is going on here. Look here. Look, there's flowers. Is that really coming off my blueberry? It looks like blueberry leaves, but there's buds coming out all over. It was one of those warm spells we had, and it's just right here, just in this area. Now we do have all the, I did show you in the other video, it had all these little things like this coming out, and I think those are new buds. But when I was showing you those little balls on the end of the first part of the video tour, I knew this was over here, and I was kind of setting up for this, but what is going on here? These things are getting ready to explode, I'm thinking. That is just, okay, that blows me away. Enough said. Moving on. All the blueberries look like that. They have little balls on the end. Just some of them are smaller than others. Some of them are more developed. Okay, so we have this bag. It's supposed to be a bag of peppermint and the surprise Thai plant, which is right here. This is that Thai plant that surprised me, and you can see it's all, the leaves are all dyed back just like all the other Thai plants. But here's mint, folks. This is how mint works. I clean out all these leaves. I think this is mint. I'm smelling it. Oh yeah. Ooh, strong peppermint. Strong smell of peppermint. Look at that thing coming back. This stuff is persistent. And all this growing, look at all this growing here. All this, in fact, there's my original peppermint tag when I bought this plant a few years ago. I've had this peppermint for a while, but look at it all growing underneath here. I'm going to uncover it because we are heading for some new nice weather, and these things want to grow. They are ready to grow. Peppermint is amazing. Now, let me tell you something. Peppermint is a little overly amazing because if you don't keep it in some kind of container, it will take over. In 5 years, this will have covered the panhandle of Florida. Not really, but it's pretty aggressive growing. So you can see over here, we still have quite a mess from the removal of the tree. I still have bricks sitting all over that belong to paths. There's a Thai hot. What do we got here? There's a dragon cayenne. Oh, there's that triple bag of miscellaneous stuff that I had. This looks like an old something or other. Oh, you know what? I bet that has potatoes in it. Hey, let's see if this has any potatoes in it. Okay, so let me tell you briefly about this bag of potatoes. If it is, in fact, potatoes, I lost the bag somewhere. But I had some potatoes. In fact, it was part of the potatoes we planted out a few, was it a month ago maybe? No, it wasn't even a month, about 3 weeks ago. And I thought, I'm gonna just try to plant these out. And this was, oh, good Lord, I can't remember, it may have been October. I was curious if I could grow any potatoes over the winter. Of course, I didn't know we were gonna have such cold weather coming up, but we had some really bitter cold. So I don't personally think there's gonna be anything in here. This is the single stem that came out, and this was actually in the shade of the big tree over here. So frankly, I don't know if there's anything in here, so let's find out real quick. I am curious. This will be the conclusion of this experiment. I'm expecting to maybe find a couple of rotten seed potatoes. Oh, there's a potato. One. That's not rotten. That's not a seed potato. That's a new one. Ooh, yeah. There's a, oh, interesting. Look at, this is Yukon Gold, by the way. This is leftover husk of a seed potato, rotted out. Interesting. I really don't think that one is a seed potato. Oh. I think that one actually grew. Okay, so that was interesting. I found the other remnant of the other seed potato. Try to get that to focus. It's kind of in the shade, but anyway, it's just a husk with a little bit of mush inside it. And we got 3 potatoes, count them. 3 little baby potatoes. Now, so, okay. The way, let me tell you the brief story on this. This is, again, my log, so I know what's going on. I planted this potato on a lark. I had a few that I had set aside to put in soil. I knew it was like September, October, maybe it was November. I can't remember exactly, but I'm gonna have to go back and find out. If I figure it out, I'll put it in the description below. But I put them over here where I had potatoes last year. It was not a great spot. It had the shade of the big tree over it, so it kind of developed over underneath the shade of the big tree, which wasn't great, obviously. And it had okay watering, but it was the wrong time of year to be planting Yukon Gold as far as the standard. I was just curious to see if it would do anything, so I planted 2 potatoes in this bag, and it actually shot up 1 vine, and that vine actually leafed out real nicely, but it was a single vine. In fact, I'm gonna see if I can find a video from that video tour when that was popping out, because I might be able to find it in the recent video tours. But yeah, so it made 3 good potatoes, and here it is January, and it's finally harvested, which is pretty funny. Okay, yeah, that's pretty funny. All right, so let's continue on with the garden tour. So I showed Mrs. Bowtie the potatoes and got so excited as I was walking out, I realized, hey, we have chitting potatoes, and yeah, they look really bad. I don't know that there's gonna be anything really worthwhile in them, but hey, this is all about experimentation. This still has a little bit of green in it. If these come up, I actually found 3, which there is a little bit of green down in here. So if these come up, we'll just have to see. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna set those aside. You can see how shriveledy they are. That's just the energy from the potato being pushed into the growth. I'm gonna put just a bit of this Dr. Earth in here. I'm pretty sure this bag has been supplemented, but I'm not positive. So I put, I don't know, 1/4 cup in here. I'm gonna kind of dig it in a little bit. I know the sun is all wrong here. Let me get over the other side here, there we go. So I'm just gonna basically put these down to depth, about 4 inches from the bottom, and see if they will do something. This one here is already breaking off, but this one looks good here. So these are determinate potatoes, which means they don't really need to be mounded. They are Mrs. Bowtie's favorite, the Yukon Gold. I will put a label on that a little bit later. But there's potatoes. So you can see there the rest of the bedding. This is actually where I put that baby squirrel from the tree removal. I had made a little ball of bedding and stuck it up in there from the nest that they had come from. But I just want to show you here, you can see the bees are active, doing their thing, looking beautiful. There's a bee heavy with pollen. Oh, look at their legs when they go in. I can see the yellow on the back legs, so they're finding pollen somewhere. About every third one of those, I'm seeing a lot of yellow on the back legs. That's interesting. So that's the bee cage. This is, of course, the melon patch. We are getting very close to putting the new features in here. The fig trees we started with, of course, they're looking great. I cannot get over how much growth there and over here is coming out of the bottom of these fig trees. It is just mind-blowing. These are going to really grow this year. They are just aching to get out. This will be year 3. So they say first year they sleep, second year they creep, third year they leap. And I believe this is going to be the 3rd year. Yeah, I'm ready for this thing to leap. This one especially. We'll be putting in the Loquat hedge behind here. You notice I did get some of that landscaping fabric. I will be continuing that landscaping fabric all the way over to the edge of this path here. But that's just to help keep some of the weeds down along the fence especially. Chain link is hard to get stuff out of as far as weeds. You can see this is the lemon tree. We'll be putting this back. I'll show you where that will go here in a little bit. But it looks good. It's completely lost everything, but now I say it looks good. Okay, that's brown. That's brown. I see green right there. We'll have to see what we have left over of this tree when all is said and done. But it is in a big pot. There's a elephant ear trying to grow up in there between the bamboos and the bench. That'll be fine. I don't know if you saw the video where we dug up one of the elephant ears to see if we could get anything. This is a random bag of jalapeno, my original fatalii plant. Oh, look at all the mint coming. I just can't get over how this mint is doing. It is growing up fierce. Got to keep this stuff in a bag though, because if you let it out, it will take over. You have to keep it in control. This one is chocolate mint. Nope, this is peppermint. There's a chocolate mint over there we just passed. So we're getting into the second melon patch here, and this is a lemon tree. Have to see what we have left over of this. A little concerned about it. And here's the first evidence of the big surprise, of course. If you follow along, you know that we chopped out a massive tree, which means we're gonna have a whole lot more sun in here this year. Sun was definitely a trouble spot this year, a concern. So we definitely are looking forward to new sun, getting that jasmine planted up the tree. This privet hedge I did trim back before we cut that. This right here is another pomegranate that's showing no growth yet, which is a little surprising considering how much sun it gets out here. But the sun is low, so I don't know. I do not know. Yep, this is the beautiful jasmine we're going to plant. This was a gift from a friend. Thank you, Shane and Chris. Can't wait to get this thing all trimmed back and probably planted right about there. There's a place either there or on the other side. I think this is where it's going to go. If I put it on the other side though, it might cover on might grow on the chain link fence. I don't know if that's going to be wise or not. Check out these massive logs. I did cut this. If you saw my posts from the church building, you know, we're trying to make planters out of these. It's not going well. I'm trying to figure out how to make holes in these big enough to plant plants, and yeah, it's not going well. This is all firewood. It's been sitting here a while. It's getting dry. It does need to get moved. You can see my neighbor, he did move his industriously. I need to be somewhat industrious and do the same eventually, and right now is probably a really good time to get under here and put landscape fabric down underneath this Satsuma orange. But here's the thing, the Satsuma orange, I don't know, you saw the grapefruit tree in the first, look at all the new growth. Looky there. Orange tree is coming back. I am very happy. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to cut some of these out because they're kind of getting out in the path. But we'll make that work. Past the orange tree, of course, is the Egyptian walking onions. Did I say past the onion? Past the orange tree. I don't know what I said. You know what I meant. Now, the interesting thing about these, so like this cluster back here is a pretty good example, because the original cluster I got of these Egyptian walking onions wasn't much bigger than that. Maybe twice as big. And I broke it up into all these little plants all over the place. And now look at all of them growing. These get cut up kind of like green onions. And eaten. Have a good onion flavor. I don't know if you remember the lemon tree that was blooming in the last video. It's gone through 2 colds. It has quite changed its mind. Now this is the first time that we're able to see back in here, because everything is dying back. You can actually see, there's the pomegranate, there's a lemon tree, there's actually a pot down in here with 1 lemon tree, and way down up there, there's another, small lemon tree. So it's hard to see, but it's down there. I don't know what this is. It's not going to stay here. I'm gonna have to run that through my identification app. Take a picture, send it into the app, and it tells you what it is. It's a strongly growing tree though. Of course, all the aloe vera is starting to pop up with new growth in the middle. I do need to come in and cut out all the old stuff. This is a decorative grass right here that I've not treated yet. I need to just come in and cut it off right at the pot. Rosemary, covered with a few tomato cages. Oops. There's another decorative grass over there. Needs to be cut. This pomegranate, none of these pomegranate trees have grown any, oh, I take that back. I see 2 branches over here have started coming up. Look at there. They're trying. I see some dead lemons hanging on that lemon tree. I tell you what, that cold was unusual. I talked to someone not long ago that said that was the coldest. They've been here 30 years. That's the coldest they've ever experienced in the 30 years they were here. So I don't know. I haven't seen official records yet. This is another, I believe this is going to be a peppermint, which originally came from this pot, which, look carefully, because this is going to be coming out, I'm hoping, here in the next month. This little blue pot actually housed my original peppermint plant. And I broke this up and made the big grow bags and left some in here. I just grabbed it with a hand and pulled it apart. We'll see if this comes out. Maybe I'll use this little snippet of video in next month's video tour when that thing starts coming out. So more aloe, lots of aloe along here. This lemon tree, oh, this was the beautiful lemon tree. I did harvest several lemons from this. This is Bowtie, made some limoncello that we've been enjoying immensely. Another one of these. I need to find out what this is. If you know what this is, comment below. Otherwise, I'll put it in the description once I figure it out. This is not mint. No, it is not mint. This is the same stuff. Definitely needs to come out of that pot though, because there's a lemon tree trying to grow there and another lemon tree growing here. You know, I just realized, looky here. This lemon tree used to be a lot big. Look at that stump. Oh my goodness, this was a big lemon tree. I need to look at Google Earth on this. I have never noticed that. Huh. I wasn't this far into the garden last year, this time. I believe this has some kind of mint in it. This may be, what is this? Oh, yes. That's the spearmint. Oh, nice. So we have spearmint coming back. Strong. Nice. Look at oh, oops, I just pulled some out. But, oh, wow, look at there. Look at that, growing strong. That is going to come back good. Spearmint's one of the ones I lost in the water shortage. The other place I had it growing it didn't get watered well. So I really want these aloe to come back because I think these were the beautiful yellow buds. I can't remember. Definitely want that to come back. The pomegranates, 2 more pomegranates. Now again, none of these have been touched, but this shows you what those other pomegranates look like. They look like this. Just dozens of little roots of shoots coming out. Obviously not good. Now, over here in the back here, you can barely see in the shade, there's actually a small pile of sand, and I was picking that off to put in the garden occasionally. However, I am not touching that now because turtles live in there, and lizards. And it's got grasses growing over it, and there's cardboard back there, and on multiple times I have seen all kinds of living things around here. So I'm actually considering not even touching that ever again and just let that grow wild in that area right here next to the compost, behind the compost. Kind of curious what it will turn into. And yes, might be snakes. Sorry, Mrs. Bowtie. But here's a bag that had my original chocolate mint tag. And there it grows right there. Oh, smells so good. I see there's a few extra things coming up in here. Get those out of there, of course. But look at that little tiny chocolate mint growing right there. Oh, yeah. Get some of these other things out of here. We don't want to hamper their growth, but yeah. Beautiful chocolate mint. I love the chocolate mint. I love the peppermint. The spearmint, the sweet mint, not so much. That's why I only have a couple pots of each of those. A couple of those old poinsettias looking miserable. I have no doubt they will not be coming back. That cold took them out. But saving the best for almost last here. Look at these. Anyone know what these are? Loquats. They survive the cold, all the cold, beautifully. And there's a little bit of weathering, but look at all the new strong growth on these things. I am so excited. I'm gonna have either 5 or 6 Loquat trees. I could go get some more pups from my friend, but these stayed right here during the Christmas freeze and the other colds that we had. We haven't had any more freezes, but it's been mid-30s, and this thing is thriving. These things are thriving. So it looks like this one a couple of these may need to get planted up into a bigger pot. That might be a thing I need to get done. I wonder how the roots are looking on the bottom. Oh, looky there. Yeah, most definitely. I need to plant those up. Those are crawling out of their pots. It's time to go. In fact, I can see a bigger pot with a small one in it right there. That'll be the next size it goes to. And we get into compost country. Got a whole bunch of viney stuff from the garden that I need to chop up. And of course, our compost are 3 bins. We have a bin of wood chips that have been there for a very long time. 6 months, 8 months maybe. We have our new compost, which we're working on now. And then we have our old compost. You can see it's a little over half full. This is what will be going out on the garden. It's beautiful stuff. In fact, if I come down here, you can see what it looks like. This is beautiful stuff. 3 years worth of compost. I figured out there's well over 1,000 eggs in this bin. Maybe even closer to 2,000 eggs. Very excited about that bin though, because this is going to go in the peppers. It's going to go supplement the other raised beds. That's an important bin right now. I am still going to get out this palm tree out of here. The chainsaw is out still, and I'm just going to cut it to the ground. It's a little much under here, though it will look bare, but I'm not sure I want to have that there. Before recording the conclusion of this video, I took that potato bag over to the growing area, and look what I discovered. We have a just born potato right there. How exciting is that? These things are gonna grow. That's the first one I've seen. Planted out 15 days ago, which that's right about the time they're supposed to be coming out. We have 2 other bags that we planted out that same day. I don't see anything, and then of course this is the bag I'm gonna get a label in that we planted today. So there you go, the outer garden bed tours for January 2023. Again, this is Bowtie Dave. This is my personal journal. You're welcome to join along. It's why I do it. And it's the best way I can find that keeps my ADD brain most interested, I guess. I don't know. I've been doing it consistently for almost a year now. So when it comes down to doing this a few more years, we'll know that it works. But you can see right here, that right there is the biggest news. That big tree out of the way cast a huge shadow on our garden. In fact, it gave some of our garden only a couple of hours of sun, and really hampered a lot of growth this past year. So we're very excited to see where it goes from there, and all the things that are going, all the things that are growing, all the things that are waking up. Yeah, it's very exciting. So I just can't get over that tree being gone. We're all very excited. But anyway, this is coming down to the end. If you've just stumbled along and have just discovered our channel, please be sure to subscribe. I try to do this the end of every single month, and it's really my step-by-step development of the garden and what's happening in the garden. And if you've already subscribed, I appreciate it so very much. Every subscription helps, and we are growing this channel to be something a little more worthwhile, hopefully, the community, and we're looking forward to where it might go. So be sure to click the thumbs up or the like on this video, and if you found it educational, informational, or just entertaining. And finally, be sure to share on your social media. Everything helps grow the channel immensely. It's hard to explain how much, but it's a lot. So be sure to do those free things. They're free. They won't cost you a thing, just a click, maybe 2. And it just is tremendous to help grow the community. So all that being said, I know some of you already know what's coming up now at the end. And as always, have a blessed day.